So Phil, there are 25,000 square feet of space on this floor that are dedicated to, I suppose, what you could describe as tenant experience.
Yeah.
Tell me more about how you see that, kind of what's going on in this space.
Well, it's really exciting that all buildings, from very small and scrappy to incredibly large and trophy and impressive, are recognizing the need for shared amenity beyond what used to be, oh, I have just a cafe, I have a gym, maybe that there's parking, that there's something human in the shared space that needs to anchor the community of the building and give all tenants, right, the individual employees who work for the companies who lease space in the building to be, or to feel that they can go to not only escape maybe the confines of their defined space, to use it as a release valve. More and more, I think tenants are looking for, I'm going to solve for 70, 80, 90% of my problem and look for a building that can help me flex around the margins, whether that's big meetings or all hands or clients coming, people we want to impress. So the building of the future, really the building now, has to have something like this. And then the challenge just becomes making it feel like the actual center of gravity of a building.
And we are up on 60-something
60-something, yeah.
So we're high up, right? And that represents a significant commitment from the landlord because this is valuable space, right? It's up high, it's a large plate. So the developer, the owner, the landlord is taking that commitment very seriously to creating that experience for the tenant.
Yes, and maybe therein is the challenge a bit, that the experience can't always be, or will not able to just be the view.
Right.
And sure, it's a huge leap from the owner perspective, right, to be giving up what is otherwise very valuable and expensive space to, as an amenity, something that an individual tenant is not going to take down and fill every day. But it is about creating something spatially and from a design perspective that truly speaks to the people. And maybe think about the inverse, right? Where we as just humans in our lives roaming around tend to find the things that feel the most community oriented isn't actually up in the sky. It's either at the retail level or what you can just fall into.
Right. And you were just alluding to the fact that this is a very unique place, of course. And so in the kind of average office environment, or the average working environment, what are some of the principles? You were talking about energy and people. What are those principles that you can apply even if you don't have level 60, in the heart of New York City?
Thinking about that core question of what is the center of gravity of a space? And I used to come from banking and went through evolutions of design of building, going from terrible little pantries to beautiful lounge spaces. But unfortunately, again, they tend to get buried. And once they are nicer, higher provision, open, visible, somewhere you might go into accidentally, the real trick then becomes one of humanity.
Right.
The biggest reason that the junior banker in any number of beautiful offices that we can see from here or in this building won't go and sit in the lounge or have a one-on-one conversation, 99 times out of 100 is permission.
Right.
I don't see anyone else doing it if I'm not sat here doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Someone will think I'm not working. And to tip the scale and get energy and put bodies in those spaces is really hard. And again, one of the ways that it happens naturally in the flexible working community and co-working spaces is quite simply because they're very dense. The back of house space, the private offices, are on the whole small. It tends to push people forward, right? They're looking for diversity of space, not just the few desks and chairs that are in their small box. They're looking for meeting spaces, lounge space, to be by the barista, whatever it is. And younger workers in particular tend to be quite comfortable rocking up to a couch with a laptop. And they'll do it in mass. They will stay there all day.
Right.
People used to see it in WeWork's headquarters when I was there, but it's about there being a bit of a push from the space towards the community and not towards the private. And then human leadership-oriented permission and showing up and be like, yeah, I hang out in the lounge because the CFO is always there explaining something complicated to the interns. You know, that's magnetic. That's an amenity in and of itself.
And so do you have an example from the real world of how a company that you know of has achieved this kind of effect, this kind of energy?
Yeah, I mean, there's a really interesting one that's being built now. So I can't say that it has happened yet, but for someone who is a born and raised New York City native and likes real estate, you can't help but think about it.
Sure.
You can see it from here, way over there, peeking up above the clouds almost, is JP Morgan's new headquarters at 270 Park. So that's the building they took down to the ground and have rebuilt. Will be occupying soon. But that building, which I mean is a wonder for many reasons, but one of the hallmarks of the design that you can read about already in their kind of marketing about it is what they call the Exchange. It's a 4 or 5 floor band of like food-centered social space in the, it's like 10 to 15th floor, somewhere in there, which is to say it's not in the sky. They are using their top floors for their like high touch client and executive center. So it's a single tenant building, right? Functions very differently than one like this, but they're using almost the view for the most impressive client space, and they want the heart of the building being like closer to the arteries, so to speak. Right? It's like every employee will have to come through there in some way, shape, or form, whether it's transferring elevators or coming to eat. And I'm really excited to see, not only to see it and how it's been pulled off with a ton of outside advice from Danny Meyer and other restaurateurs, but to see how the energy sustains itself all day, right? Does it become like a rapidly beating heart around lunchtime and then taper off? Or will it sustain that energy and the vibrancy all day, which I actually think will be the biggest attractor of the employees to the building to start. Saying nothing of where they go from there to do their work, and that's obviously something that's really important to JP Morgan organizationally.
Well, I hate to leave this view behind because I could just stare at it and talk to you here all day, but we'll keep moving and have a look at some of the rest of the space here. Something you were just talking about was the need for organizations to kind of give permission to their people to use the space in a certain way or to kind of behave in a certain way. I wonder if you could just dive into that some more.
Yeah, and I mean, this is amazing. Like, I wish I could come have lunch at a restaurant like this, or like the other outdoor spaces that we see all over downtown. Obviously, we're not at lunchtime now, so it is an unfair assessment to judge who is or isn't here. But this is a great, would be an amazing place to come and sit, not only to work now because of the view, right? If you just wanted to get your head down or have some quiet off hours, this would be amazing. Or to have lunch with a colleague or a team, or even meet other people who are in the building. It becomes a question of, do you have the time to step away from the desk? Are you encouraged to go and explore other spaces? Like, a lot of companies still would move into a building like this that is as amenitized as it is and build a cafe. Right? The tech tenants or financial tenants that may just have this as part of their ethos. They go like, yeah, we always have a cafe. We have a cafeteria in a building that also has something like that. Which is great because it's private, and obviously you can talk about anything you want, and your Wi-Fi works, and you can have town halls. But are people allowed to leave? Are there role models that show them that they can leave and be in other spaces, both just to get a break or to, again, meet, interact, and feel connected to others in their community?
How do you see the need to kind of customize and tailor what you're doing in your workspace based on the kind of company you are, the kind of culture, the kind of outcomes that you're looking for? Yeah,
and that bigger question of what is the purpose of our company having places, period. Then what is the purpose of this particular place in a way where, if leaders were every couple of weeks asked to sit down across the table almost from the building, from their office on the 60 whatever floor in One World Trade, what have you done for me lately? Have you done the thing you were supposed to do, which was, cut our like offer rejection rate down, or to make clients reach for their checkbook, or to accelerate our project completion or innovation, something, a real number, not just the show up, that would influence not only the design of the space, but then the activation, the servicing, and the behaviors that you ask of people in them. And as it pertains to like outdoor space or hyper amenitized spaces,
which I think is fantastic, but I wonder how common it is that, you know, businesses are approaching the opportunity that way.
Yeah, I am as guilty as anybody else, I'm quick to admit that, of having put offices in places because we had a lot of people that lived in that place.
Right, and we need somewhere for them to be.
We need somewhere for them to be. This is office-based work. This is the box. It is a representation of our culture, right? It is a talent magnet, but even companies, a beautiful space, clients of mine, saying like, oh, we're gonna move, we're gonna renovate to make this more of a magnet for talent. If you really press and say either, like, do you think that this office, as you have executed it, has been a net positive for your talent attraction story, yes or no? Even if leaders are quick to go like, yeah, sure. As soon as you say, can you prove it?
Yeah.
It tends to be crickets, or in particular, or maybe specifically, the real estate team itself can't prove it. They are not positioned or given access to human capital metrics that the organization may find very simple, influenced by built environment choices, right? Does office A, B, or C have a higher office acceptance rate or offer acceptance rate?
Right.
If not, like why? And not immediately jumping to the conclusion that it's the one has a restaurant and one doesn't.
Yeah.
It may be the way that the leaders figuratively show up.
Yeah, the
for
energy.
Candidates. Yeah, for the candidate entry experience. But yeah, like even saying that is the desired purpose is new or feels very new, much less the ability to prove it.
And do you think part of that is because space is quite a long-term proposition, and so once you've made the decision of where to be, what to commit to, it's kind of not up for debate anymore?
Yeah, I've never forgotten an old boss of mine used to say, if you get a black eye in real estate, it lasts for a decade or more.
Right.
Everybody goes, Molly signed that terrible lease and we're still sitting in it 8 years later, right? We're stuck. And because of how resource intensive it is to make changes, and most office projects aren't holding budget back ever even to do that kind of change, you like never make a mistake. And that leads to this terrible cycle of a few things happening. One, real estate or facility teams won't even ask for feedback because they kind of don't want to know.
What can you do about it?
Yeah, they're like, we know you don't like the red couch. You know you don't like the red couch, but I don't want to have proof that you don't like the red couch because I can't do it.
And we paid for it now.
Yeah, it's done, right? That's going to sit there for 8 more years.
Yeah.
And so that creates this culture where, especially like technology and innovation organizations, companies like will use terms like fail fast as a positive.
Right.
If you say fail fast to your average facilities manager, they will have a heart attack in front of you. Right. That is the worst nightmare.
Well, thank you so much, Phil, for your time and all of your insights today. It's been a fascinating conversation, and I would keep going if I could. Big thank you again to Phil Kirschner, workplace consultant and thought leader, for joining us today here at One World Trade Center. And we will be exploring these topics and more in future episodes of In the Loop. So we'll see you next time. Thank you, Phil.
Thank you so much for having me.
your time, and we'll see you soon, I'm sure.
We don't want you to miss an episode, so don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow In the Loop on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever else you listen to your podcasts. And while you're there, leave us a review and a rating, and don't forget to recommend the show to a fellow commercial real estate geek.